Hello and good evening. Today we have another of the coaching sessions for Simulator Controller. It has been quite some time since the last one, but we have a couple of new stuffs to talk about. Today we will focus on the latest addition to Simulator Controller, the telemetry data system. And before I will start, I want to say hello to all the guys here on Discord. As always, if you have a question or if you feel that something was not clear enough, please jump in and we will do our best to explain it. So, telemetry data. Before I will show you what Simulator Controller is currently capable of in this area, a short disclaimer, let's say it so. I don't want to build the next telemetry analyzer because there are already lots of good applications out there ranging from professional systems like Motec to open source solutions like Second Monitor, for example, and they are all doing an amazing job. My goal is to have the data available in the database of Simulator Controller to work with this data. Finally, and this is the ultimate goal, to be capable using the AI, for example, of the driving coach to analyze the telemetry data and let you discuss, for example, areas of improvement in throttle or brake application around the track. This is still more fiction than science and a little bit far in the future, but I think by the end of the year I will have something up and running there. Yeah, and to do this, I must collect telemetry data and store it in our database. And because it's so nice looking at this stuff, I also implemented a viewer to analyze the telemetry data. But as said, there are better solutions for doing this out there. Okay. Telemetry data can be collected in 3 different applications at the moment. In the Solo Center for your practice and solo race sessions, in the Team Center for your endurance races with a team with your friends, and also in the setup workbench while working on the setup. Let's first take a look how it is presented. Let's load a session, a previous one here. For example, this one. That's a race I had 2 weeks ago, and I collected the telemetry data while the race was running. And here is the data. The collector is, by the way, very lightweight, so you can run it while racing. It will not pay a big or pose a big penalty on CPU load or something like that. So you have lots of channels here. I will go into the details in a few seconds, and there are more channels to come. And I will also implement additional functionality to choose your channels, to arrange them in this layout. At this time, this layout is fixed, but there will also be a kind of configuration option to generate the layout as you want to have it. Yeah, what do we see here? More or less the same what you see in other telemetry viewer systems. Here is the current speed. The x-axis is the distance into the track. You have the brake application, the throttle application, the steering angle, and other data like here rounds per minute, the current gear, application of ABS, traction control, the acceleration, and something which is not quite common, the steepness of the current curve you are driving. let's choose one of the faster labs, for example, here, 28.7, and take a look into the details. We zoom in for doing this and open the track map. And let's see. Here we have a quite steep curve. Selecting that, it will be selected here also in all the detail graphs and also in the track map. And now you can see if you, for example, have finished braking while you are at the final apex of this corner. And at this point, we are already applying throttle a bit earlier, but we had a steering event and must let the throttle go again. I think pretty much what you will be doing with other telemetry systems as well. Okay, you can select here also in the track map and it will show you the position in the data. The other thing what you can do here is select a different lap. Let's move the fastest lap here over to the reference. It was this one here, and select one of the more slower laps, and you will see, as also with other telemetry viewers, the difference in application, in speed, in the different data series. You can also, from the telemetry viewer, load more labs. For example, if you have stored a reference lab in the session database, we can do this right now to demonstrate it. We will now use here again the fastest lab, which was this one, because storing is always applied to the current selected main lab. Can move here back to none, and we will store it and give it the name fastest.
Oliver?
Yeah.
Your microphone is cutting out a little bit. I think the gate is a bit too high.
Okay.
Or the sensitivity is too low.
Yeah, I understand. Is it better now? No, this way. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Yes, better now?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, great. So we name it fastest in Solder. And if we now open the session database, you will have Solder labs. You will have it stored here as one of your reference labs. And you can also share this data, this telemetry data, with the team server, with your other team members, or even with the community if you have given the consent to share telemetry data with the community. Okay, going back here to the telemetry viewer. Okay, we see in the store, we can also load additional labs as said, as for example, you have the ultimate fastest lab stored in your database, and you will always use it as a reference to compare to your current performance. You can select it from here and load it into the current set of telemetry data. And of course, you can remove invalid labs, bad labs, and so on, and they will be removed from the set of recorded labs. If you then store the session, save the session here with the save command, the telemetry data will be saved together with the full documentation of the session, in this case a race, in the session database, and you can always go back to it using the load command, and this will include all telemetry data. Okay, that's a pre-recorded session. How do we record telemetry data? There are different ways depending on in which application you are. In the session center, it's easy. You start your before you start your session, you choose the telemetry command. Let's do it here by before clearing the session, so we have a clean window, and you open it up. It's empty now because the session has not been started. And you go to the track, and while this window is open, while the telemetry viewer is open, it will also record telemetry data. So you can minimize that so that you have your session view here, and go to your race or your practice session, and the telemetry data will be collected in the background. That's for the solo center. In the team center, it's a little bit different. Let's take a look at this one. Let's open it. No, it's a solo one. I don't want this. I want a team session. Team session. Let's go to Imola. Okay, here, team session. This will open up the team center. And here you have the following situation. Every team member can open the telemetry browser as long as you are connected to an active session. But every driver has to enable telemetry collection so that his or her telemetry data will be stored on the team server. So the driver can choose whether his telemetry data, or must choose whether his telemetry data will be collected, and the other team members can view, not possible because this session has ended, the other team members can view the telemetry data of the current driver while he is driving. There is a restriction here. Since the team server is running in the cloud and the telemetry data is quite large, so only the last 5 laps or so will be stored on the team server and then will get deleted. But as long as you have the telemetry viewer open, it will be collected locally, and you can store it at the end of the session together with the session. So that's for the race center. And then we have the setup workbench. The setup workbench has always been able to work with telemetry data, but it has looked at the data from a different perspective. It detects oversteer and understeer events using the jaw angle and the steering angle. That has been the analyzer, which has been there for a long time now. And we now have a new option here named Telemetry, which, no surprise, opens the same telemetry browser, which will start collecting telemetry data when you are on the track. I have prepared a short video for that. Okay, so we open up the telemetry viewer, start the engine, and now you see here a small rotating ball, which means the telemetry data is getting collected now, and after a few laps, the first lap will be recorded, and here it is. Okay, so that's the way it is working. Two different additions here. The telemetry collector uses the API of the application and needs one important information, namely the distance of the car from the start-finish line. This information is available in all simulators. Only ACC does not have it. which means I have to generate this information during a learning phase. So for ACC, the first telemetry lab which will be collected is one lab later than for all other SIMs. All other SIMs will collect the second lab, and the ACC will be collecting the third lab as earliest. That's this information. And yeah, before I go to the integration with second monitor, any questions so far? Seems not the case. Yeah, then let's come to the final thing. I have contacted the author of Second Monitor. He was very polite and interested in a collaboration. The idea behind that is that many may be using this tool already and have a lot of telemetry data collected in Second Monitor, and I wanted to make this available to the session database here as well. And he implemented a special file format which you must activate to use. I can show you this right now. Let's start Second Monitor. There it is. Normally, the data of Second Monitor is stored on the hard disk or your SSD in a kind of compacted format. And if you want to use it together with Simulator Controller, you must enable a different save mode in the settings. You can find it here in Telemetry. Save also as JSON file. JSON file is a file format which I can, or Simulator Controller can read and import. So you must save your labs in the JSON format. And if you have done that, you can, for example, let's go back to the Solo Center, open a telemetry viewer. You can open here using the Open or Import button. Go to your Documents folder, Second Monitor, Telemetry, Recent, and there you can find your labs. And the JSON file format, it's a human readable or text-based file format, is quite large. As you can see, the compressed format, the binary format is very small. So you select as many labs as you want in the JSON format. And here we go. These are two labs which has been recorded with Second Monitor, but are now available here in Simulator Controller as well, and you can store it now to the database. Okay, we have no running session at the moment, so it does not store it to the correct folder, but let's do it anyway. Suzuka. Database, user, ACC, McLaren, Suzuka, lab telemetries, and here we go. And if you now go back to the session database, switch to Suzuka, it's not there. Why not? What have I done wrong? Huh, interesting. Ah, forgot to press the save button? No. Oh, sorry. presentation effect. I must check that. But that's the idea, how to do it, and it will work with the Friday release at least. Okay, I think I covered everything.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of having the telemetry in the setup workbench? It implies that it can somehow work with the setup workbench, or
It
is
will.
it just another way?
It will in the future, of course. um, at the moment, it's just something where you can look at while working on your setup. You already have the analyzer, which tells you about oversteer, understeer events, brake temperatures, and stuff like that. But you may also see that you are not having the full potential of lateral G, for example, during the corners when looking at the telemetry data. But it's a manual process at the moment. So you have to wait for another few releases before I have the AI up and running that can analyze the telemetry data and make conclusions of it.
Okay.
Okay, other questions? Seems not the case, so then we had a very short session today, but that's no problem. It's also quite quite small new feature, but an interesting one, and it will develop into something big, I hope, if I get the AI to understand the data. Okay, thank you so much, and see you next time.